I survived the man in the mirror, the one everybody thought was me. I wasn't fighting the world, I was fighting what the world made me. Yeah. Everybody saw the smile, nobody checked the damage underneath it. Everybody saw me standing, nobody asked how many times I fell to get here. I learned how to say I'm good while my whole soul was screaming help. And that's the part nobody tells you. Sometimes the hardest person you'll ever have to save is yourself. I used to wake up already tired, like sleep couldn't reach where the pain lived. Had a war going on behind my eyes, but I smiled outside so nobody knew what the name was. I became good at hiding the evidence, good at turning breakdowns into sentences, good at telling everybody I'm blessed while privately questioning what the blessing is. I shook hands with people I didn't trust, called it loyalty when it was fear. Gave pieces of myself to everybody else, then wondered why I couldn't find myself here. I carried expectations like chains, turned every failure into something I blamed. Every no became proof I wasn't enough, every goodbye became another brick in the wall. I had anger I couldn't explain, had tears I refused to release, had prayers that never left my mouth because I didn't know if God was listening to me. So I talked to the ceiling at 3 a.m. asked how much more can a heart withstand, and the silence answer louder than words. You don't need to understand the whole road to take the next step, and I took it. Because sometimes survival doesn't look like victory. Sometimes survival looks like getting out of bed when your mind gives you 10 reasons not to. Sometimes courage isn't screaming, sometimes courage is whispering, not today. I lost sleep, I lost friends, I lost faith in people I thought would never leave. I lost time, I lost pieces, I almost lost the person I was supposed to be. But somewhere underneath the wreckage, there was still a heartbeat, and it kept saying, don't you dare quit. I survived me when I was my own worst enemy, when the voice inside my head was telling me I'd never be free. Oh, I survived me when I couldn't see tomorrow. I carried all this pain so long, I thought that pain was who I was. They can say they know my story, they can judge me by the scars, but they weren't there inside my mind when I was fighting in the dark. If you're hearing this and you've been there too, you didn't survive because you were never broken. You survived because broken wasn't the end. I remember every person that disappeared when the money, the smiles, and the confidence did. Funny how the crowd gets smaller when there's nothing left to benefit. I remember being useful, then suddenly becoming invisible. People love the version of you that gives, but hate the version that says I need something too. Hold on, betrayal doesn't always slam the door. Sometimes betrayal says I'm here for you, then vanishes when the floor collapses. I learned family ain't always blood, and blood ain't always loyalty. Sometimes strangers show you more love than the people who know your history. I stopped asking everybody to understand me, because some people only understand your value after they can't access you anymore. I stopped chasing apologies from people who sleep perfectly at night after destroying somebody else's peace. I stopped begging people to stay, and that's when I finally started staying with myself. Here's the truth, I wish somebody told me sooner. You could spend your whole life trying to prove you're worth loving and still end up forgetting to love yourself. That line right there, that's for the person who keeps giving while secretly wondering why nobody gives back. I had nights I couldn't breathe, days I couldn't recognize my face. I was running from my memories, but they knew exactly where I stayed. I tried drowning every thought in noise, distractions, temporary highs, but silence always found me when the world finally went quiet. So I stopped running, I sat with the pain, and I asked it, what are you trying to teach me? Teach me, teach me. I survived me when I was my own worst enemy, when the voice inside my head was telling me I'd never be free. survived because you were never broken. You survived because broken wasn't the end.
I don't need you to explain every chapter. I just need enough strength to keep turning the page, because I've questioned you. Yeah, I've questioned everything. Why did you let certain people leave? Why did you let certain doors close? Why did you let me become so familiar with pain? But maybe some doors had to close because I would've stayed somewhere that was destroying me. Maybe some people had to leave because I would've confused their presence with my purpose. Maybe the season that broke me was building the man I kept praying I'd become. I don't know, but I'm still here, and maybe that's the answer. Maybe the miracle wasn't that the storm disappeared. Maybe the miracle was I became strong enough to walk through it. I prayed for peace, God gave me boundaries. I prayed for strength, God gave me something worth fighting for. I prayed for the pain to disappear. He taught me how to carry it without letting it control me. And that's when I understood, healing doesn't mean you forget what happened. Healing means what happened doesn't get to decide who you become. So tell the ones who counted me out, they better update the numbers. Tell the ones who laughed at the struggle, I'm not ashamed of the hunger. Tell the ones who watched me fall, I remember every face. Not because I want revenge, because every empty seat taught me how to occupy my own space. I don't need everybody clapping, I don't need everybody watching. I don't need validation from people who only noticed me after I started popping. You weren't there when I was broke, you weren't there when I was scared, you weren't there when I had nothing but a prayer and a reason to keep breathing. So don't tell me I'm lucky, luck didn't carry me through those nights. Discipline did, faith did, pain did, and that stubborn little voice inside me that refused to die, that did. I fell apart, I put myself back, I lost myself, I went looking. I hated who I became, then I realized that version of me was surviving with the tools he had. So instead of hating him, I forgave him, and that's something I never thought I'd say. I forgive myself for the mistakes, for the people I pushed away, for the opportunities I missed. But every year I spent believing I had to be perfect to deserve love. I forgive the younger me for not knowing what I know now. He was hurting, he wasn't hopeless, there's a difference. If you're listening right now, and nobody knows what you're carrying, if you've been saying you're okay because you don't want to become somebody else's problem, if you've been fighting a battle you don't know how to explain, listen to me. You don't have to have your whole life figured out tonight. Just don't give up on the person you haven't become yet, because the future version of you might be standing on the other side of this pain, wondering why you thought this chapter was the ending. Remember the first thing I said? I survived the man in the mirror, but I understand it differently now. I didn't have to destroy that man, I had to understand him, I had to forgive him, I had to teach him that surviving isn't the same as living. And now I'm learning how to live. Now every scar has a story, every loss has a lesson, every closed door redirected the message, every betrayal sharpened my vision, every failure gave ambition, every night I thought was over became another night I survived. I don't worship the pain, I don't glorify the darkness, but I'll never pretend it didn't change me, because the man standing here today was built from pieces the old me thought were worthless. I took my fear, made it fuel, took my tears, made them proof, took rejection, made it discipline, took loneliness, made it room to hear my own soul. And all those voices that said I'd never make it, I don't hate them, I just hope they see me now. Not because I need them to regret it, because I need myself to remember I was always more than what they could see. I survived me when I was my own worst enemy, when the voice inside my head was telling me I'd never be free. I survived me when I couldn't see tomorrow, I carried all this pain so long I thought that pain was who I was. Now I look into that mirror and I don't see somebody weak, I see every version of myself that refused to let me leave. I survived the fear, I survived the shame, I survived the nights when I couldn't say my own name. And if you survive something you never talk about, then this one's for you. I survived the man in the mirror, but the truth is, he wasn't my enemy. He was just hurt. And tonight, for the first time, I look at him. The wound like a map of where we are. I remember every night I couldn't silence my head, every promise that I made myself while lying in bed. I said tomorrow I'll change, then tomorrow came the same. Kept blaming everybody else because I couldn't face my pain. I wanted somebody to save me, but nobody could see that the person I was waiting for was me. I was searching for a rescue, I refusing to be rescued, building walls around my heart, then wondering why nobody got through. I confused being numb with being strong, confused staying quiet with proving everybody wrong. But pain doesn't disappear because you refuse to name it, and wounds don't close just because you learn how to fake it. So I finally looked that broken version of myself in the eyes, and instead of asking why'd you fail, I asked, how did you survive? Because he did! He survived every rejection, every betrayal, every night the tears came down and nobody knew the details. He survived the people who promised they would stay, the ones who disappear when life got heavy anyway. He survived the doubt, the shame, the fear, the voice saying, you're never gonna make it out of here. And somehow he kept breathing, so don't call me lucky. You didn't see the nights I had to fight myself just to sleep. You didn't hear the promises I whispered when nobody else was listening. You didn't see me lose everything and still wake up looking for a reason. You didn't see the old me die so the new me could finally have a beginning. Now I don't need revenge, I don't need their apology, I don't need everybody who left to suddenly understand me. Because closure isn't always somebody saying, I'm sorry. Sometimes closure is looking back at the person who broke you and realizing they don't control you anymore. So here's to every person listening who's smiling while carrying something heavy. Here's to the ones who say I'm fine because explaining the truth feels exhausting. Here's to the ones who lost themselves trying to keep everybody else happy. Here's to the ones who almost quit but woke up one more morning. You don't have to be fearless, you don't have to be healed, you don't have to have all the answers. Just keep moving, one breath, one prayer, one step, one day. Because sometimes the greatest comeback doesn't happen in front of an audience. Sometimes nobody claps, nobody notices, nobody even knows. But you wake up one morning and realize the person you were trying so hard to save finally saved himself. And that's when you understand, I wasn't fighting to become somebody, no. I was fighting to become somebody I could finally live with. They thought I survived the world, but the truth is, I survived the version of me I thought I never would.